Haha, Shiki here. Welcome back to Witches X Warlocks. We are on part 6. And yeah, let's not dilly dally and let's get right back to where we left off. Smash.
No, no, no!
No!
Huh.
Shiki.
Are you alright?
Shiki, are you hurt?
No way!
Damien, I broke my potion bottles. I'm not wearing any shoes or socks. I stare at the 1,000 pieces of glasses scattered on the ground all around me in dismay. I'm undoubtedly trapped. I'm going to be here forever and miss my exams and a Halloween party. With a clenched fist, I tilt up my head and shed a false tear.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to all the couples out there who will never meet, having been deprived of my matchmaking prowess. Know that my heart goes out to you.
Please.
Shiki, don't be like that.
You see?
I can sweep away the shards for you. Damon opens their mouth and sings a few notes. It's quiet for a moment, but before I can ask, I hear a scuffling noise. It starts coming from the corner of the room and then the walls. Suddenly, from everywhere, mice! As they run towards Damien, they mimic the tune in their own squeaky way.
Wow!
Wah! Damien crouches down as they softly pet the furry animals.
Please.
Excuse me, friends, if you don't mind, could you please help us pick up this mess? Sure enough, little paws begin to swiftly and carefully collect the glass, depositing it into the trash bin Damien brings out for them. And the kitchen is clean within seconds. Well, aside from the cheese, Damien happily sprinkles around for the lot of them. After they accept their reward, the mice clear off as quickly as they can.
Amazing!
Damien, that was amazing!
Like...
You're like that one character from the movies. You're like, Snow White.
Huh?
Not really. I get along, better with creatures than I do with people after all. Why are you so close to me, Damien?
Right!
It must be because you're so gentle with everyone and everything. I could see it. If I was an animal, I sure would like to be around you too, just like we are now. They bashfully put their hand up to their left cheek and trace small circles on the ground using their tippy toes. Not sure about that one.
A long time ago.
It's just before I came to Halloween Town after my maker passed away, most of my companions were animals. Aw, Damien.
Sometimes.
Whenever I'd come across a creature on the road that was hungry or lost or being troubled by humans, I would help them out.
You see?
And in time, well, they would try to help me too. No, that sounds so precious.
Yes!
I want cute animal friends like you.
But
for as long as I can remember, small creatures have had a tendency to run away from me. Well, Shiki, you're probably just too energetic. Probably.
Well...
If you're kind to them and respect their boundaries, it's not too difficult.
Although...
Though, if you like to call upon them and speak in a way they understand, I do know a spell for that.
yeah!
I really, really want to learn. Show me.
Alright.
Alright, but if I teach you the spell, Gentle Giant, you have to be careful with it.
Please.
It's not a spell to control another. You may only ask favors of the animals, and in exchange, you must offer them something in return.
No way!
You worry too much. Do I look like someone who would be even a little mean? They look into my eyes and smile. My own heart gives a spook when it skips a beat.
No.
No, and that's why I trust you.
Well...
Additionally, abusing the spell will cause you to lose trust with the animals. If they have no faith in your bond, the magic would no longer work.
Alright!
Got it. I don't want to ask them for anything anyway. Just talking to them seems neat. Right?
Okay.
I understand.
It's simple.
The song I just sang is embedded with old magic from the forest. If you sing it, the animals out here will understand your intentions. Oh, do you think you could maybe show me one more time then?
Watch closely,
Okay,
please.
watch closely, Shiki. I'll try and teach you to cast Gentle Giant. I attempt to sing the notes Damien had done, but I think I messed up a little here and there. Unexpectedly, Damien sings with me, and my solo becomes a duet, but still no furry friend in sight. I cross my arms and pout. Is it because they don't trust me yet? Or because my singing's kinda bad?
Wait.
No, Shiki, look there. I turn around from near the entry of the kitchen. A small black kitten walks up to— Yes! When our eyes meet, it mews at me and my heart melts. Yes, that's totally me.
Wow!
Hello, oh my gosh. Did you come to talk to me? Thank you so much. When I speak, he pads over and rubs against my knees. I think I'm going to cry, and Damien smiles, gently patting my head. Oh, this is seriously me.
All right.
I'll leave you to it. Just some milk in the fridge when you're done. Damien leaves, and I spend the entire afternoon chatting with the kitten instead of getting any work done. But I think I'm on my way to getting my very own familiar, as a proper witch should.
The incomparable. The one and only.
At this rate, failing the exams will be impossible for the wonderful da-di-da, the incomparable da-di-da, the one and only Shiki Nightshade of Doomamere High. Black Cat, Witch, match made in heaven. Nightshade, Nightshade is the best, finds you someone from the rest. I sing quietly to myself as I dust inside the human shop, doing my best to keep the wares clean and tidy. Which, come to think of it, was kind of necessary. It will start to get gross in here, especially the drapery. Ugh. Just looking at these curtains makes me want to sneeze. I should probably take them outside before I start beating them. And a 1, a 2, 1, 2, 3. I go to tug them down and a cloud of dust ambushes me as I do so. Wait. Had that always been there? Do you guys see it at the top? At the top of the stairs. Is that a picture of Carmilla? Had the picture of her always been up there? I just realized it right now. That's pretty neat. By the time it clears, there isn't a wall behind the drapery, but an ancient portrait framed in gold. Wait. Oh. Oh. We're just talking about it right now. A familiar, dark-haired woman gazes down at me with empty, yet captivating violet eyes, and I... Wait a second.
Huh?
Carmilla? Okay, so it wasn't there.
Yes?
Oh. Yes, sweetness? I don't hear her approach, so when I whip my head around to see her standing behind me, I jump out of my skin a little. This is you, right? Not like a great-great-great-grandma that also happens to be your doppelganger? Indeed it is. What keen eyes you have. They're the portrait of yours truly, the eternally gorgeous Countess of Carnolia. Ah, what an error that was.
Amazing!
Amazing! You're a nobility? She folds her arms and raises her brow at me as she gives my chest a small poke with her index finger.
Come on!
Were, I most definitely still am.
Yes!
Yes, of course, my lady.
What?
But wait, what is this painting even doing here anyway? She doesn't respond. Rather, when I look over, she's tracing a finger over the filaments on the portrait's frame, no doubt gathering dust from whatever era she's seeing in that far-off gaze.
Well...
Just a minute. Oh, Countess, the frame's a little crooked.
Wait!
No, Shiki, don't touch! Too late, I grasp the frame and adjust it accordingly. When I do, a scrap of paper falls out from behind the painting. Huh? What's this? I lift up the parchment. It's a folded pencil sketch of a woman with hair that flows like the ocean's waves and eyes as dark as a moonless night. There's something mischievous in her smile that draws me in.
Wow!
Wow, what a beauty!
Don't touch it!
Ooh. Before I can react, Carmilla snatches the picture from my hand with fury in her eyes and a crease in her brow. I blink, taken aback and a bit hurt. It's just a drawing, so what's the problem? Unless... Did you know her? A friend of yours? Carmilla sighs, takes a lingering look at the photo, and gently runs a finger across the girl's paper cheek.
I suppose.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
My greatest hunt.
She was my greatest hunt. I've never since pursued a human of her caliber.
Well...
I'm willing to bet there's an impossibly good story behind it all.
Yes.
Oh, there most certainly is. There's a glint in her eye as she takes one last look at the portrait. Slowly, she rolls it back up with extreme tenderness. I guess it's no surprise at all that the picture is still in good condition when she handles it like that.
6 centuries ago.
Whoa. If I remember, a century is 100? So 600 years ago? 6 centuries ago, this little delicacy came forthwith to my manor.
She was.
She was hoping to hunt me as revenge for an incident that occurred in her village, unbeknownst that she, herself, would become my quarry.
For months.
For months we played a game of cat and mouse, pushing each other to the limit, but never quite gaining the upper hand.
Until one day.
Eventually, I cornered her in an alleyway. I leaned forward, as if sitting on the edge of my seat.
Oh...
And then what? You drank her blood?
Mm-hmm.
Nearly to the last drop. Carmilla smiles, and yet there's something forced about her cheer when she speaks. I see her run her fingertips along the edge of the page. Until some no-good busybodies arrive to save her. I barely escaped with my life that night.
How?
Gosh, how'd you do it? I outsmarted them, naturally. She flicks her hair off her shoulders with the back of her hand.
You know?
Vampires are apex predators, as you should be fully aware by now. When faced against mere mortals, we always come out on top. Okay, but if that's all true...
Why?
Why do you look like you're about to cry? Carmilla's jaw hardens. I feel like she's about to chew me out, but after a long and very awkward pause, she laughs the kind of laugh of someone who has resigned themselves to a most pitiful fate.
I suppose
it isn't easy to hide affairs of the heart from master matchmaker, is it? Did you like her? You've caught me twice today, little witch. Open my mouth to reply, but the pained look on her face brings me to a halt. An unknown sensation starts to build up within my chest. With a sigh, she tucks the roll of paper back behind the portrait.
my dear.
But Cheeky, my dear, there's some plots that are not worth digging into. Her piece spoken, Carmilla returns to doing inventory, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I guess there's no helping her right now, no matter how much I want to be there for her. As I turn the corner of the alleyway heading to the human shop, I notice the lights are out. I check the time on the clock tower nearby. I'm pretty sure we should be open right now. Was there another holiday this close to Halloween? I don't think so. After all, I keep a tab on all the holidays for my matchmaking purposes. I approach the door and cautiously take hold of the handle and pull. It swings open easily. This noise is so spooky. It swings open easily and the little bell echoes through the empty space. Inside, the store is pitch black. Even the street lamps outside can barely illuminate more than a few inches indoors, as if something's stopping them from doing so. Magic? I feel my heart dump heavily inside my chest as I step into the store. Carmilla, are you there? My voice comes out as a tiny, frightened squeak. I clear my throat and reach out for a candle, or any sort of light really, only to knock one of the displays over instead. Sounding like the pickled eyeballs too by the squelch. I definitely don't look forward to cleaning that up later.
Hello?
Carmilla? Mr. West? Suddenly, a sharp breeze nearly knocks my hat off. I gasp, instinctively crouching down and covering my head. When I look up, I see a small silhouette balancing on the second floor balustrade, candle in hand. Well, what do we have here? Who are you? You entered the domain of Countess Carmilla, mortal, being of the night, ruler of the creatures of darkness, mistress to time itself.
Crab apples!
Carmilla, it's you! Carmilla swoops down from the second floor, her cape billowing like a dark cloud around her. I yelp as she lands in front of me with the agility of a cat. Her footsteps are silent against the floorboards. The candles suddenly light up all at once, banishing the eerie darkness. Carmilla stands above me, her shoulders trembling with laughter. You're surprisingly easy to spook, my dear, an odd trait for a witch.
Hey!
Hey, that wasn't funny. I nearly had a heart attack. No, 3 heart attacks. I clutch my chest for emphasis and press against my forehead with the back of my hand as though I were seconds away from passing out. The previously noisy thuds of my heart against my ribcage begin to die down. Oh, dear me. Well, rest assured, little witch, I will take responsibility if you're feeling faint.
How?
How'd you even do that? Jumping from so high, I mean. Is there some kind of wire attached to your back? I spin Carmilla around and search but find nothing. She crosses her arms and gently shoots me away.
Not at all.
Of course not. Vampires can fly. We're all powerful apex predators for a reason. So you could have just gotten that skeleton by yourself the other day without me falling off the ladder? Ooh. You have these powers and didn't help?
Not quite.
Well, not quite.
I suppose.
Fly is, I suppose, a stretch, despite being the name of the spell.
Well,
You can only glide and swoop down from high places. Soaring high up is nigh impossible. It is not quite like a witch upon the broomstick. Before I can even ask, Carmilla smirks at me. But flight is certainly an appropriately witchy skill, is it not? Would you like to learn how to do it? Duh, of course. But what kind of things can the spell be used for? There always seems to be something. A aesthetic.
Um,
Come again.
Well,
You can't expect every spell to have some kind of ingrained use or higher purpose, you know?
my dear.
Some of these things are just for entertainment. It simply looks positively captivating when you swoop down upon your audience.
I suppose.
But I suppose a klutz such as yourself could utilize it to curb your falling habit as well.
oh.
Oh, I guess I can argue with that. So, will he teach me? Oh, being of the night, ruler of the creatures of darkness, mistress to time? She blushes as I recite her earlier lines and throws her arm dismissively at me.
I'll teach you.
Alright, already. Follow me. I'll teach you how to cast fly. Or so she said. She led me to the balustrade, explained the process of casting the spell, and even demonstrated it a few times. But, Carmilla, I'm not so sure about this.
Come on!
Come now, you're never going to learn it if you just keep watching me. Do you fear heights, my dear? Yes, I do.
Oh, sweet thing.
Oh, sweetheart, and you're absolutely certain you still want to do this? I nod in response. Carmilla sighs and climbs up on the balustrade beside me, then takes my hand. Oh, we're gonna fly together. Take my hand like Peter Pan.
Mm,
Very well. If even the great Shiki Nightshade is daunted by this task, we shall do it together. Oh, okay, on three, then.
oh,
That's
All
fair,
right.
love. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Fly!
Bye. I squeeze my eyes shut, and together we leap from the balustrade. Hands intertwined, Carmilla and I glide down to the first floor of the shop. Eventually, we manage to make a silent landing near the front door. I gape at her, amazed, with my heart hammering against my chest. Carmilla returns my look with her smug smile.
Wow!
Dad?
well,
Wasn't so bad, was it?
Amazing!
That was amazing, Carmilla! I
Right.
feel like, as long as you're here, I really can do anything.
oh my.
Oh, what a charmer you are.
Now,
Though the only thing we should be doing for now is preparing for customers. We're never as busy this close to Halloween, so I may have taken a few liberties earlier with the schedule. Leave it to me. On some days we don't have a single customer, but on others, well, this happens. Bombarded by questions from all sides, I tried ringing up a customer who kept nagging me because he was in a hurry. When I finally told him the total, he suddenly asked me to get a potion from a shelf on the other side of the shop. I decided to use Scuttle on my hand and sent it to the back room to get what he wanted instead. At the same time, I put his purchase into a bag and somehow even managed to calculate the new total by the time the vial found its way to the register. To my amazement, it was really easy to do with 4 customers at once using this trick. Wow. Now that's multitasking. Mr. West was so impressed by my skills that he increased my pay for the day, easy as a piece of pumpkin pie. I'm telling you, The Zombie's Heart is the author's magnum opus. A finer story has never been made in the history of forever.
no!
And I'm telling you that's a load of rubbish. Do we even read the same book? Excuse me, folks. Could you perhaps help me? We both look up when elderly gentleman interrupts our debate, which I was totally right about, gesturing toward a haunted sculpture on the top shelf.
Of course!
Of course, my dear. I immediately turned to pick up the step stool from behind the counter.
Alright!
Here, let me.
I can do it!
There's no need, my adorable little servant can fetch it for me. Carmilla puckers her lips and lets out a soft whistle. Oh my god, they're little bats. Instantaneously, a small group of chittering bats swoop from the tops of the rafters and gather around her, gleefully spinning. She gestures towards the sculpture, and the cluster falls upon it in a swarm. They pick up the heavy stone between their little claws and carry it down into Carmilla's waiting hands.
Here you go!
Thank you, young lady. As he receives the product, he gives us both a small nod before continuing to browse the store selection.
Wow!
Whoa, Carmilla, that was amazing! I stare in awe at Camilla's little posse of bats while they flap around her. One even lands on her shoulder and nuzzles against her cheek. In response, she affectionately pets the top of his head. She likes this. She's like a spooky Cinderella.
Right?
Adorable darlings, no? I love hearing them mill about. Can you talk to them? Indeed I can. It's an inherent skill we vampires have, being able to communicate with creatures of the night.
You know?
Essentially, anything that creeps, crawls, or flaps is a close ally. She presses her index finger to her lips and winks.
Wow!
Wow, but I didn't see your eyes glow this time. Are you not controlling them?
Not at all!
Why cheeky? Not at all. I would never control a friend.
At any rate,
These are simple creatures that, treated with kindness, will aid us in our daily lives, as well as dangerous situations.
What?
Would you call them your servants?
no.
Or oath, my dear.
Now,
This particular family of bats have been bonded to me for generations. They may as well be of my own blood.
I don't.
And we do not subjugate Famille. The bats swarm closer around her, butting their heads against her arms and hands for pets. She obliges and gently caresses her back black fur.
Well,
Is this something I can learn too?
Maybe.
Well, see, why not? That is, assuming I feel like teaching you. Are we gonna, like, discuss that book again and say, like, you were right? Huh? She smirks, saunters over to my side, and lets her words caress my ear. Apologize for an slightly and moreover wrong opinion from earlier, and perhaps I may consider your request.
You know?
Of course. If only to celebrate your newfound sense of taste. Seriously? Over the buck? Well, I'm definitely right, but...
wow.
Wow, see, suddenly I see the error of my ways and think you were absolutely right. It was complete rubbish.
Right.
Oh, is that so?
Right.
I just don't know how I didn't see it earlier, to be honest.
Please.
As always, you're so much wily, demi, and oh so gracious. Please teach me more so that I could be like you one day, Lady Carmilla. A little overacted, my dear, but I'll take it.
Well,
Though, do remember not to demand services from just anyone. We have a delicate, balancing relationship that we have to uphold, you see.
now,
If some outsider started bossing my bats around, I would be obligated to defend them. Huh? I would never. I stare at her wide-eyed and hopeful. Perhaps.
Whew.
Ooh. I mean, you've been such a great teacher, Carmilla. Double seriously.
Right.
If I didn't have you showing me magic, I don't think I'd ever be able to learn it. You're brilliant in every way imaginable. Carmilla barely suppresses a grin. Well, I suppose I can't deny that I've been the best teacher you've ever had.
I'll teach you.
Alright, little witch, I'll teach you how to cast night creatures. Her ego fed, Carmilla spends the next few hours teaching me how to create potions that can summon and communicate with sea creatures of the night. We start small with a few spiders and slowly move on to practicing with her bats. It takes up the entire rest of the day at the shop. Still, I barely notice that time has passed till the customer rushes in at the last minute, because of course they would. Not like they have any upcoming exams that are sure to spell their impending doom. Excuse me, could you help me reach that skull up on the top of the shelf?
Of course. My dear.
Go ahead, my dear. Now's the perfect time to try a new skill.
Night creatures.
Go, my bat friends! Spell cast, I whistle a small tune for the bats, just like Carmilla showed me. A few flutter over, but don't even have half of the enthusiasm they gave her. Bring me the skull! I point up towards the top shelf. They stare at me unmoving.
Come on.
Sweeter doll. Please. Nothing.
Please.
Pretty please. Unsure of what else to do, I take a few berries from my lunch and offer it to them. The bats sniff them for a moment, but then hesitantly accept their fruit. I inch towards the shelf, coaxing them along. Eventually they manage to grab the skull, but not without almost dropping it to the floor. Thankfully, I stumble forward in the nick of time, catch it, and hand it to the customer.
Right.
Here you go. Thanks. And don't worry, everyone's new at some point. Thanks. After paying for the item and leaving a pity tip for me, he exits the shop. Once he's gone, I turn to Carmilla with a frown big enough that my bottom lip jutted out. I don't get it. What did I do wrong?
Oh, sweet thing.
Your approach could have been better, but there's no need to take it personally. It's only the first day, me.
Now,
I'm more familiar to these bats than you are, after all. You'll need to build a much greater relationship with them to gain the same kind of trust they and I have. She pets one of the bat rampants, smiling down at her companion all the while. I hold out a finger in response. A single bat flutters down and wraps its little claws around the middle of it and hangs upside down. So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I smiled to myself.
Yes.
We'll just have to spend more time together. Alright. I think this will be a good stopping point for part 6. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Yeah, if you're enjoying the series, make sure to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Have a good morning, night, or evening. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.